All right, let's be honest. Everybody and their dog is playing with AI just now, but most, when it comes to ad creative, are using it the wrong way and churning out creative that looks like a bad stock photo married a generic Canva template. That's why our next speaker is here. He's going to cut through the noise and show you the right way to use AI to make creative that converts. He's the co-founder of AdCreate, where he's helping brands unlock smarter, faster, higher converting ads with AI-powered workflows. And today, he's pulling back the curtain on how you can do the same. So if you ever wondered how to turn AI from a shiny new toy into a results-driving, revenue-producing machine, this is your moment. So let's drop some robot emojis in the chat and give a huge CreativeCon welcome to Alex Cooper.
Hello and welcome to my talk for CreativeCon 2025. My name is Alex Cooper and today I'm going to be here to talk to you about how to make thousands of high converting ads every single month with the help of AI. Notice how it says the help of AI, not with AI. Very important distinction. For those of you who don't know me, I am Alex Cooper, co-founder of a company called AdCreate. We make performance creative for 8- and 9-figure D2C brands. We have worked with 50 plus 8- and 9-figure brands over the last 3 years. The likes of Huel, Licorice.com, Harry's, just to name a few. And I make content helping people make better ads with the help of AI. I actually recently taught a course over the summer with over 600 students on how to make ads with the help of AI. Some of you here may well have been in that course. So that's kind of what I'm going to talk about today and how you can use AI to help you make better ads. I want to start off by talking about an economic concept. And this is the Laffer curve, and the reason I'm putting this in here, well, firstly, I'll explain what it is. Basically, this is used to help calculate the optimum rate of tax to collect the most revenue for governments. But I think it can be applicable to us here as users of AI. See, what I've found in amongst training hundreds of teams on ad creative and AI at this point is a lot of us are here. We have used Claude, we've used GPT, and we use them day to day. We feel like we're pretty decent at them, but there's this collective thought that we're not doing as much as we can with AI. We want to up our output. We want to get better at utilizing AI, making it work for us. And we feel like it's something that we don't know, whether it be a prompt or a process or a workflow, or just a system or a way of thinking about AI that we are not aware of, that our competitors are or other businesses are, and that leads us to feel there is some knowledge gap, as you can see. And this is perpetuated by a post like this, and I'm not digging these guys out, I'm really not, because I could have found hundreds of posts like this. But it doesn't help when you get people saying that replace your entire creative workflow with Nano Banana, or I just replace my $200,000 a year creative agency with VO. Anyone who's tried these prompts or these workflows will know that if you do this, you end up on the right-hand side of this Laffer curve, where 100% of the stuff, well, not 100% of the stuff, but a lot of the stuff that you put out just isn't of the quality that you want, and you end up scaling volume at the sacrifice of creative quality. And all your creative ends up looking like this. I forgot that part. What I found is that most people actually aren't as far away as they think they are with AI. They just need to learn how to discern between what actually creates tangible business value for your creative strategy and what is just out there for engagement on socials. And that's what I'm going to help you try and tackle today. So what I'm not going to be showing you is how to replace your 200K a year content team with Nano Banana and whatever other AI tools. If there is a infinite ads machine button out there today, I am not aware of it. And, I spend all day, every day thinking about creative and AI. I wish it was out there. It would make my life way easier, but to my knowledge, it's not. What I am going to be showing you is how to use AI to enhance your existing workflow. Take what already works and make it better, make it faster, make it easier with AI, not completely replace it. Why people are approaching AI the wrong way. I'm going to be showing you some top performing ads using AI that have spent 6 figures profitably for our clients, and where I think the future of ad creative is and how AI impacts that. So I split this into 3 parts. Let's go through these one by one, starting with research and ideation. If you can hear a noise in the background, I apologize. It's my girlfriend's dog, who's clawing on the door to try and come in. Anyway, I'm going to be starting off by talking about the feed. Because when Facebook and Instagram first came out with their feed, you saw everyone posting for their friends and family. And that was the only thing that was in your feed. It became hard for advertisers to blend in, because if it wasn't a friends or family post, then it was likely an ad. Then we started to see the rise of creators over the 2010s, the first ever UGC. More D2C brands started to pop up on socials as well, and we saw the first evolution of the feed towards an interest-based feed. The For You page was created. And over the last 2 years, we've seen the TikTokification of the feed, whereby every piece of content in your feed now, whether it's TikTok, whether it's Instagram, whether it's organic, whether it's an ad, everything is hyper relevant to exactly what you want to see. Now, because the algorithm always wants to serve our ads to the people who are most likely to buy, the trap that I see a lot of brands fall into is making ads for warm audiences. Those ads for warm audiences perform better because the algorithm is hyper relevant to exactly what people want to see. That leads to them making more ads for warm audiences and then seeing more warm audience ads perform. And they keep going through this hyper relevance trap that I call it, of continuously optimizing ads for warm audiences. Barry Hart actually has a great tweet about this that I can link at some point as well. And the point is that what's best for your ad account might not always be best for your business. And ultimately, if you want to scale on Meta, you need to be able to get out of this relevance trap and make ads for top of funnel, cold audiences. So what does this mean for you? Well, first of all, context matters in the ad account. Think about which ads are you making that are actually bringing in new customers versus scooping up existing demand. Sometimes it could be as obvious as like a bottom of funnel, 40% off discount ad. Obviously, that's just scooping up existing demand. In the vast majority of cases, sometimes it's not as obvious as that. But think about which ads are bringing new eyeballs in. Not just iterating on winning ads for more audiences, like I said. And the reason I'm saying all of this is to break out of this hyper relevance trap, you really need to understand how to market to new customers, or how to bring in new customers, how to market to prospects to bring in new customers. And the way that you do that is through good research. So I can tell you what it looks like for us. I think there are thousands of ways to do research out there, and a lot of them are 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But for us, it looks like this. We have a deep research prompt that we put in the different inputs. So customer reviews, ad comments, support tickets, surveys, Reddit threads, Quora, forums, etc. And the output of this big deep research prompt is simply a one sheet that has these 7 sections: personas, stage of awareness, pain points, desired transformations, objections, trigger events, and tone. And what you'll find when you do this thoroughly is that your ad scripts, really do write themselves. You're not writing your headlines anymore. You're not writing your scripts. You're literally just taking the words and phrases that your customers are using and repurposing them in your messaging. And you're just more so like connecting the dots rather than actually trying to think of new ideas for your ads. So here's an example of what one of them looks like for us. Again, you can be as detailed or as brief as you want in these. We try and make them more detailed. We also don't make these things that are done one-off. Again, one thing that I see that a lot of brands doing is they just do a lot of research up front when they, when a strategist comes into a role, or when they get onto a new account, or like whatever it is. They don't do too much research ongoing. Can't tell you how many times I've seen in our accounts where we've uncovered new use cases or new pain points through new Reddit posts that have been posted, or new TikToks that have come up. There is always going to be more information that you can crawl on the internet about your brand, and you can uncover new insights about your customers if you keep doing this research on an ongoing basis, rather than just once every so often, or even worse, just up front or as a one-off thing. So, I could cover research, honestly, for the professor's talk, but I don't have the time to. Let's talk about how to actually turn research into ad ideas. And This I believe to be the best use case for AI today. Because when we say like using AI to create ads, I think a lot of people think about, the VOs, the ARC ads, the Nano Bananas, the Image Gens. They think about execution. And while that is cool, and we're going to get into that shortly, I actually think the best use case for AI is in the research and ideation. And for us, we've had a huge unlock in building Claude projects that are trained on our data. So we have Claude projects for all sorts of things: UGC scripts, podcast scripts, VSL scripts, static headlines, script rewriters, iterations. Basically any task in the creative process, we have an individual Claude project that just does that one thing. Rather than just an overall, like here's our brand GPT, we have individual tasks for each stage of the process. And what that means is we can load that with specific context about that one task. And the outputs are significantly better than when we just use a normal Claude project. So here's what each of these look like. Here's our ad headline generator for this brand, Two Dudes. They're actually a male skincare brand. So each of them has 3 pieces of context inside of the Claude project. You have the brand context, the domain context, and the top performing examples. The brand context is just simply the about the brand, which I'm assuming many of you already put into your custom GPTs or Claude projects. The domain context is where it gets really interesting, because that is a context document that we've created on everything we believe to be true about static headlines. For example, it has to be clear and concise. Assume no one knows or cares about the brand. Things like this, we've created a whole document, almost like an SOP on how to write perfect static headlines, and just static headlines, nothing else. So because that context is relevant and specific to this project, the outputs are way better than if we just had like a whole document on here's how to create every single type of ad that you can create. And finally, top performing headlines. That is simply the top performing headlines the last 365 days and an explanation as to why we think they're top performing. I wish I had a better way to show this, but I don't. You just have to go and try it yourself, honestly. But this is an example output from one of our trained Claude projects versus like a normal output from Opus 4.1. I know 4.5 is now out, but like when I made these slides, it was Opus 4.1. So she stopped complaining about my sandpaper face. Boy, I was pumped when this came out. I think it's a really good headline for Two Dudes, this brand. Finally, skincare is for guys who hate skincare. I thought skincare was BS until my wife noticed. I'm pretty pumped about a lot of these headlines that it's coming up with in my trained Claude projects. The cool thing is, as you can see here, it says in my prompt, rank these based on which one do you think have the best chance of performing and why. Because I've given it the context of how to write static headlines in my context doc, it actually knows what a good headline is and what a good headline isn't. See, the problem with Claude and ChatGPT when they're not trained is that they're just trained on thousands and thousands of blog posts and articles from all over the internet, not from good direct response marketers. And that's where you need to come in and inject that context. And that's why on the right-hand side, you can see that it's actually ranked the best headlines itself. Of all the 20 headlines it came up with, it probably surfaced the best 5 that I would have picked. If not 4 of the best 5 that I would have picked, versus the one on the left, the normal Claude Opus. It doesn't know what a good headline is. So if you ask it to rank them, which by the way is a good prompt that I enjoy, then you're not going to get the top ones shown up first. I don't have time to go through the full process for this. If you want to watch me build one of these out for real, then go to my YouTube. As you can see here, this video I uploaded a few weeks ago, which is my full process for how we build these Claude projects. And you can see the prompts we use, etc., by watching this video. Other messages of inspiration. There are a ton on here. I'm a big proponent of the organic feed being the best place for ad inspiration, more so than any other ad library. As you guys are probably well aware, your competitors are just copying their competitors, who are just copying their competitors, and none of us know what work. So, yes, sometimes we do look inside of ad libraries. When we do, it's usually via AdSpy or 4Play Spider, because I think both of those platforms have their merits in being able to analyze what is actually working, at least from afar. But a lot of my best ads have been from TikTok, YouTube Shorts, or Instagram Reels inspiration. What we're doing on paid is just trying to emulate what's happening in organic anyway and sell. So I'm a big proponent for getting inspiration from the organic feed. But even bigger, getting inspiration from your customers. I would go there first, and then I would go to platforms for ad inspiration. However you get your ad inspiration, or however you decide to create your ads, I do think it's valuable to have some form of hypothesis tracking. Now, we have this spreadsheet that we use to track all of our concepts. Now, we do this because we deliver it to clients, but even if you aren't an agency and you don't deliver to clients, even if you're just a team of 3 people with a creative strategy, or even if you're a team of 1, I would still recommend doing this exercise or some format of this exercise. I want you to look at column G and column H here. We have 2 variables that I think really force us to be intentional about our ads. And that is the ICP, i.e. who are we talking to? And then the hypothesis, i.e. why do we think this is going to work? When we roll this out to the team, it really forced our strategists to start thinking about who they're talking to and why they think that this ad is going to work for them. They were a lot more intentional, and it helped them with their ads, especially with the way that Meta is going with their persona testing being the most important thing for your variation iteration. Just having these things to be able to track, I think, is going to be very important, if nothing else, other than to help you make better ads. Let's talk about execution now. So this is the stuff that usually goes viral on Twitter and LinkedIn. How do you use AI to produce content that sells? I think instead of using AI UGC, which we'll get onto in a moment, the best use case of AI today still is intentionally unrealistic visuals. Now, as you can see here, what we want to do is, and this works particularly well if you're a problem-based brand, is we want to create visuals that make the invisible feel visible. We want to create visuals that viscerally display the value propositions of our product. Ideally, viscerally display the pain points of our product. Hype Footwear, that you can see on the left here, are actually a very good brand if you are looking through ad libraries for ad inspiration. I just love how with this one, if you've got this foot pain, you're gonna look at this and you're gonna go, wow, like that strikes me, that makes me feel something and will stand out to me in my feed. This one on the right as well, I really like as an image gen ad. Here's some more examples. I love this one in the middle. Another nerve pain related one. If I have that problem, that's going to stop me right in my tracks. And again, making the invisible feel visible. Cool thing is, AI can actually come up with these ideas. You don't necessarily have to. You can literally screenshot this slide, put it through GPT and say, come up with some potent visual ideas for me that display the value props of my product or the pain points of my product that I can turn into an image gen prompt and then get it to write the prompt. So AI has actually come up with a bunch of ideas for us that are performed as image gen or Nano Banana images. Now I get asked at the moment, like which AI tools you use the most for image gen. It is Nano Banana. Although I think image gen, like ChatGPT image gen, is better at text generation. So if you want text directly on the image, I'd go with image gen. If you don't, I go with Nano Banana. My preference is to generate a Nano Banana and then add the text in like a Figma or a Canva or whatever you use. But it's personal preference. I just think Nano Banana is stronger. Another way that you can get creative with image gen is to write messages in creative ways. We were doing this before image gen was a thing. Now it's just so much easier with image gen. For example, these writing on skin, like we were doing this before image gen, they've done super well. We've had a couple of these spend 6 figures inside of ad accounts. Where you can just write a message on something that's visually relevant. And that's the important thing here. You can't just write a message on anything. If you're a supplement, you can't just write a message, on the wall. Or ideally, you don't want to write a message on the wall. Do something that's visually relevant. For example, this brand on the left here, or a fightwear brand, and I remember having a conversation with them about an ad that they were making where they wrote on the octagon. They wrote a message on the canvas of the octagon and had the brace, the knee brace for the fighters next to it. So how can you create something that's visually relevant to your audience and write in a creative way? Because I've seen these do very, very well inside of ad accounts. The same principles apply to VO3 and now Sora. And again, these slides were wrote before Sora came out last week. But same thing applies. I do think Sora will change the game in that like actual AI UGC will be a thing a lot quicker than we think it will because of Sora. I think it's way ahead of VO in that sense. But for now, I do think that the intentionally unrealistic visuals are still the best use case. For example, this right on the left here, the hormones cause spider veins. If I have that problem, like wow, I love this one that we made for Hollow Socks. Dandruff one in the middle here. And on the right, I pulled this one in. This is for a popcorn brand of ours. I pulled this one in just to show that you can do this. This can apply to you if you're not a problems-based brand. This is our popcorn brand, or like not our popcorn client. And we've always had an issue trying to explain the fact that the kernels are flavor wrapped. Every kernel is flavor wrapped, and that's what makes the popcorn taste great. Now, if you've had Opapop, which is the brand, you know that is a massive thing, and it is a true differentiator as to why this tastes better than anything else. But it's difficult to just explain that in ads to people who have never tried the popcorn. So this visual that we created really just, I think, perfectly displays the flavor wrapped kernel. And we've used this in a lot of our ads for Opop since, and I just really think it's a great way to, again, make the invisible feel visible with AI. When it comes to VO, Sora, or honestly any AI gen tool, you're really only bound by your own imagination. That's why I think it's so important for your team to have a central swipe file they can share across each other and just learn. Like pick up by osmosis the things that people are doing in the world of AI gen. Some of these stuff that we have inside our foreplay board are stupid. Some of them are like actual good ad ideas that we recreated. But even if it's just stupid things, like just to get our team familiar with what is possible, because anyone can make anything for almost zero cost. It's just you're literally bound by your own mind. Having more ideas and more reference points of what is possible with AI. You know, this dog podcast, for example, I didn't even have that idea. And we have a pet brand that we're now going to recreate this for. This is actually for an organic page. And this went and did a few million views. And we were like, wow, I didn't even know that was possible. Now we're going to make that for one of our pet brands. So, you know, just having a central swipe file that anyone can add to, anyone can see, and anyone can share inside the company has been very useful for us as a team. And anyway, like this stuff is like a very defensible thing to learn because even if some of the apps are a little tedious at the moment, I do think that this is going to be a skill set that you will need as an editor, as a designer, as a strategist over the next 6, 12, 18 months. The ability to get what you want from a text to video prompt is going to be very high in demand. Obviously the idea, I think, is going to be even more important, but the ability to actually get what you want out of the AI is definitely worth practicing, even if it's a little tedious upfront. I want to touch on AI UGC quickly. Honestly, I haven't seen too much of it perform over the last few months. I don't know if that's because people are kind of tacking on to the fact that AI UGC is a thing. I think it's great from getting you from 0 to 1 if you don't have a lot of creative and you are just getting started. I just think that if AI UGC was better or the same as human creator UGC, then we'd all have AI UGC at the top of our ad accounts. And I know that's not the case. So, you know, yes, we've seen winners from it, for sure. Yes, we still use ArcAds, we still use VO for AI UGC, but I don't think it's the best use case of AI right now. I would spend much more time on, if it's AI gen, making intentionally unrealistic visuals, and even more so, building up the Claude projects and custom GPTs. I think you'll get way more bang for your buck than that. when you will for something like this. So we use it sporadically, but it hasn't performed that well for us recently. I will say again, my early testing of Sora has been very interesting. It's quite a way in front of Veo right now, in my opinion. The only problem is that they don't get rid of the Sora watermark, as far as I know, yet. They said that may change in the future, but right now it doesn't, to protect people, because it's so realistic that people can't tell that it is AI generated content. Cool. So I made the case for AI. I actually quickly want to make the case against AI, because here's the thing: it is so easy to get caught up in all of this stuff, especially with all the posts on Twitter and LinkedIn. They all go viral, obviously. But I just want to put a reminder in here that like all this stuff is cool, but just for some perspective, AI generated ads are still the minority of ad creative. This is our ad creative output, all clients over the last year and a half. And as you can see, AI gen ads are rising. They are rising month on month, pretty much. It's a pretty clear trend, but it's still sub 20% of our total creative. Most of our winners are still human creators. I don't think that will change in the immediate future, but I don't think it will be that long before it does flip and the majority is AI, in my opinion. Just perspective, because I think a lot of people think that we are, one of the more AI bullish, like AI first creative agencies. That is true. And even for us, like most of our stuff is non-AI gen. So, just be careful. Don't forget the fundamentals, because honestly, like that's where most of the ads that we create is at the moment. I think it's easy to just go, I'm just going to replace our whole team or our whole agency stack with, with Nano Banana, with Veo, etc. And it's just not the case, even for us right now. And focus on the fundamentals, because, as I said in this tweet, the only people that I've seen make good ads with AI are the people who make good ads without AI. None of this stuff is a silver bullet. If you can't make a good direct response ad without AI, AI is not going to save you. And that's why it's so important when you're looking for people to join your team. They've always got to be direct response first. They've actually got to be good marketers without AI. It's a lot easier to learn the AI stuff than it is to learn direct response marketing as someone who's good at AI. And that is validated by a lot of the most successful brands on paid social. If you look at like a Dr. Squatch, for example, a lot of their top of funnel ads are literally like a really good direct response script, an 11 ads voiceover, and solid B-roll selection. That is literally it. They obsess on message over format, and they just focus on the fundamentals. I also think this is an interesting time to think about, as our feed becomes more and more AI and people start to get accustomed to this stuff, is there a case for creating formats and leaning into formats that AI will struggle to replicate, or struggle to replicate, as I cleverly wrote here, at least for now. And this is a strategic adjustment that we made this year. And I think it's paid off in the ads that we've been able to make, because a lot of these types of ads have worked in ad accounts for clients, because they're just ads that signal that like we're real and we're authentic people behind these ads, not just AI like everyone else has in the feed. So, ugly ads, someone just riffing for 2 minutes to the camera. AI can't do that now, at least not to an extent where it's believable. Behind the scenes, these warehouse ads or like employee ads, I'm sure you've all seen on the TikTok feed, they all do very, very well. And actually they're a great ad to make for Q4. So behind the scenes, organic UGC, authentic podcast conversations or non-podcast conversations. Not just like, hey, have you tried this product? Yeah, I've tried it. Is it good? Or yeah, no, I haven't tried it. Is it good? Da, da, da. But like actually to ideally experts riffing. And probably my favorite on here, authority figures. It's just so like such a underrated way to communicate trust and credibility in a feed where trust and credibility are at their all-time low. Having someone who can speak authentically about your prospects' pain points and their desired transformations, because they are an expert, is something that we've seen work in a lot of accounts. And whoever you are, whatever industry you're in, you will have some form of authority figure, whether it's a doctor or an esthetician or a food reviewer or whatever. Find someone in your industry who's willing to work with you. Get them to riff, give them some bullet points, and just let them go. I promise you, when you get a good one, they will speak way more authentically than any creator could do for your brand. When you pair this with whitelisting as well, it's going to do very, very well. So we've had a lot of ads that are authority figures plus whitelisting perform very well inside the ad account. Okay, let's quickly touch on analysis before we wrap this up. I think Gemini is really good for conducting performance analysis with your ads. Again, it's not going to be to the point where it like replaces your media buyers and performance teams anytime soon, I don't think, but like it can definitely give you a V1 of your performance analysis. For example, we upload all of our top performing ads inside of here and just get it to do the stuff that the performance team would already do. Like saying what's working, what we should do more of, what we should do less of. Simple as that. And usually it's not to the point where it can just be handed straight up to the strategy team. But if you can give us a first pass and get us 60% there, 70% there, then like that's still a huge win for us. As you can see, this has saved our performance team literally hours per week in not having to do this for all of our clients. Another really easy way to get a quick win out of Gemini is just literally upload your top performing ads and say come up with headlines. I think this was David Herman's idea, so shout out to him originally. And then, he tweeted about it a few weeks ago, but like we've been doing this for a while. Before that, like, here's an example of that. This popcorn is way better than it should be. We turn into this static on the right. And as I said, many of our top performing statics this year have literally come from doing this. I want to quickly round off by talking about where I think the future of ad creative is. I'm assuming if you're watching this, you have a creative team or you're a part of a creative team, or maybe you're not, but most people here will have some form of this. You might not have all of these roles. You might have multiple people in all of these roles. But this will be the skeleton in some capacity. The way that I see this progressing, I don't have a timeline for this, probably sooner than I think it will be. Whether this is 6 months or 12 months or 18 months or more than that, I think we're moving towards a world in which creatives become the QC and AI does the executing. So we'll all have research agents, scripting agents, static agents, video agents, media buying agents, and you just take a step up to do the QC as a creative strategist and say, actually, let's do more of this, less of this. Create this ad, kill this ad, or whatever that be. And AI is going to be the one actually executing for you. Again, this is not today, this is some point in the future. I'm just trying to give you an idea for where I think the industry is going. And these agents will actually push ideas and insights to you. For example, it will come and say, morning Alex, I hope you had a good weekend. I've put together your weekly insights. Over the last 7 days, I've analyzed customer reviews, post-purchase surveys, ad comments, support tickets. Here's what I found. It's going to be doing proactive strategy and research for you, and then giving you the ideas and telling you or asking you to direct it in which way to go. So, whereas a strategist today might be focused on writing scripts, briefing designers, and analyzing performance, the paid media specialist of tomorrow may be conducting high-level reviews on AI-generated ads, training models and agents with context, as we spoke about earlier, and orchestrating the whole team of agents to make them better over time and improve the ad performance. So what does this mean? It means it'll be easier to make more ads and it'll be cheaper to make ads. We're already seeing this year, but notice how it doesn't say like make better ads because it's not going to help you make better ads. It's going to help you make more and cheaper to make them. I do think that this is going to mean that the floor will increase. The ceiling may well do too, but like the floor for creative will increase because AI is going to eliminate a lot of agencies, a lot of strategists, a lot of creators with how good it's going to get. Now, I think there's still going to be a gap between the best and the rest. If we go back to here, we'll think about like, okay, if everyone's got a team of agents working for them, like where is that gap? Like what's the difference between the floor and the ceiling? For me, I think it's these 4 things. the quality of your direction, so what focus and strategy you're giving it, the quality of your feedback, how good is your taste, the quality of your systems, which agents are you deploying, because there are going to be hundreds and thousands of them, and the quality of your context, which arguably is the most important one. How well are you training your agents up? So to conclude, I think we're going to see the value in a creative strategist flip from the actual skill of creating ads itself to knowing what to create. And that's why my biggest piece of advice to creative strategists is to become a hoarder of top performing ads. Wherever you see a top performing ad, whether it's someone on Twitter or in a call or on YouTube, or just anyone mentions anything about top performing ad, save it down to your foreplay board, your Atrio board or whatever, and become a hoarder, because the more that AI does the executing, the more it will be important to have those reference points of things that have worked so you can direct your AI to do the right thing. So 5 key takeaways to wrap up this talk. Build Claude projects and custom GPTs to train on your data. Double down on formats that AI cannot replicate. Upskill your team into new AI gen platforms. Obsess over message, not format. Hire people who are great direct marketers first, because ultimately, if you just hire people who are good direct response marketers, they'll thrive regardless of what happens in AI. That's my underlying kind of conclusion that I want to draw on this. Direct response first, AI second, and you will be good. If you want to follow me, there are my links. Alex Cooper, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, newsletter. I put out on all of those weekly, except YouTube, which I'm very inconsistent at. I need to get better at. So, hopefully there's some stuff there for you. And my agency is adcreate.com if you want to check us out as well. I'm over there. Okay, thanks guys. Appreciate it, and I'll see you soon.